Hi you guys, it's Stephanie with Coffee Paper Scissors. Welcome to my channel. I have completed the Deep in the Forest journal, but I am not ready to do a flip through yet. I had to glue the spine cover on and the mushrooms that got painted and everything. That only took me just 5 minutes, and there was no need to make a video. But now they're drying, so I can't do a flip through of it. So I thought I would move on. I wanted to work on using up some of my scraps. This is one of the ways that I store my scraps. Brilliant, right? So when I go through my scrap bin, I think, oh, I only have one bin of scraps. But honestly, I have scraps within my paper packs because I try to keep them together. So I thought I would try and go through and use some of this stuff up. I've never, that I can think of, I've never done a collage with you guys. My intent is not to bore you completely, absolutely to death, but I thought today we would do a collage page and then make a couple of things from it. So that's what I'm doing. This paper that I'm using is really thin, and it's some scrap paper that I don't know. It's some paper I got at a yard sale a while back that was in, say, a bundle of just pages to get rid of, and it's not something I think I would have chosen on my own, but it was just part of the pack. It's hard on my eyes, actually, and I don't know if it is your guys's as well, so if it is, I'm sorry about that. We'll get to covering it up. But I'm using a pretty thin one because this particular paper pack is cardstock. So I thought, not to add too much bulk, we would collage onto some thin paper that I wouldn't otherwise use, I don't think. Try and get all the way up to the edge there. And I'm kind of unsure of how to go about using all of the bits and for it not to look too, I don't know. I don't know. We're just gonna pull some pages. I don't know that red, I like this, but I don't know that it's gonna really go with what I'm going for. So I might pull that out. And then put some of the larger pieces up out of my way. And I honestly, I don't even know if I have enough different colors of things to necessarily make it work for us. We're just gonna go for it and see. So you guys, I wanted to make an apology. I don't know if some of you saw that I had a video up that was making a snippet roll. Well, I had that up and I was ranting in it, and I said something that someone didn't like, and so instead of, I thought if I offended one person, then I probably will have offended someone else, and my goal is never to offend. I don't put much weight in my own opinion, to be honest, and my opinion changes, with the weather. So I just, anyway, I didn't delete it, but I took it down, and I don't know, it just, I'm just saying, if I offended anybody else that I'm unaware of, I apologize, and it's not my intention. So it's gone. I don't know for sure what I'm going for here. There will definitely be some overlapping and stuff like that. Generally, when I've done collaging, I've done either the kind that I'm using up my scraps and I do precise cuts, you know, to like fill it in, or I do tearing. And then if I do tearing, then I don't care if they overlap or not. This I haven't done before, I don't think, where I'm cutting pieces and I'm sometimes overlapping, sometimes not. I don't know. I'm just going for it. So hopefully it turns out fine. Let's see, I'm seeing what other pieces I have here. I absolutely love this. That is like my favorite piece of paper I think I've ever owned. I have a shelf that I have up on my wall that, I don't know how big I want this to be, that I backed with that paper so I can see it all the time if I want to. So yeah, I don't know if I lost my train of thought or not on that, but I did take a video down. So if it's something that you saw and you intended to go back and watch, sorry, it's gone. I'll make another snippet roll someday, and I'll try not to gripe so much. It was just a gripey day, you know, when you're dealing with stuff and you think, well, I'm going to tell my friends. Yeah, sometimes that kind of doesn't work. So some don't maybe know me as well as others, and so they would think the wrong thing based on what I was saying, and that's fine. So anyway, just thought I would say that's what happened, and I'm sorry. I've started walking again. Aren't you proud of me? I was saying several months ago I had started back to walking. I was going to try and... I really enjoy walking during the summer months, obviously, because it's not so nasty outside, cold-wise. But then, I don't know. I'd rather do this. So I didn't keep going with it. And then we got this heat wave. I mean, it's crazy. This heat wave started so early for us. So this I wouldn't necessarily call shabby chic, but it's, or I'm kind of thinking shabby chic as I'm doing this, but it's in this paper pack. And I don't know if I want to use it or not. I'm going to put that down over on the floor and maybe call it a maybe not. I'm going to use a piece of this jean. And then I'm using the gathered twigs. So I'm inking around this, but I will be covering up some of my inking, and that's fine. It'll still give it some texture and character, I think. we have the Farm Chicks show coming up pretty soon. I don't know if I'm pretty sure I've talked with you guys about the Farm Chicks show before. It's amazing. It's really cool. I've been going to it every year for quite a few years now, once I became aware of it. And it was canceled last year. And so then this year, its normal month is June, and they hold it at the fairgrounds in Spokane. But in June, the weather is pretty, good. It's in the 70s and, nothing to really worry about. But they made it for August. And I don't know how good their air conditioning is going to be, because in June, at the end of the day, and all of the people that are in the building and all that kind of stuff, it gets pretty stinking hot in there. So I'm kind of wondering if they're going to have it partially outside, which is, I don't know if that's good either, if it's going to be 100 degrees. So here's this, and I do actually think I like this. I think it's okay. I'm gonna cut a little bit of this off. I think I like these. I'm gonna keep them intact, but maybe not quite so much of the dark stuff. I'm gonna cut some of that darker stuff off. So yeah, I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to go to that. It's full of vintage things and repurposed things, people's, I need something to separate the colors, people's, creations of all sorts. I mean, just everything you can imagine. This is pretty. So it's fun, if nothing else, you get inspiration, So I don't know. I'm trying to decide whether or not I want to do it this year. It's coming up. And I have seen people sell this kind of stuff, the journals and paper products and stuff like that that we tend to make. I have seen people selling this kind of stuff there. So that's cool to see other people's things. And I always think how amazing it is that they have created so much that they could take it someplace and sell it, because it takes a long time to create this kind of stuff. And so I'm always just impressed with their work of so much, enough to have a booth is what I'm trying to say in a roundabout way. So it would be fun to have like a few of these sewn around and placed here and there, but I have in mind something that I want to make with it, so that wouldn't probably work. So do you guys have any fun festivals that you get to go to where you live? I'm stacking here, but it probably isn't going to be that obvious once I get it all taken care of. Is it? Or is it? I don't know if it is or not. I've been doing a little bit of, well, I kind of always do a little bit of YouTube searching where, you know, you get used to watching the same people all the time, and that's great, you know. I appreciate the people who watch me all the time. But then sometimes you think, well, I'm going to go see what else is out there, because you can get new ideas from people, and I don't want to bore you guys absolutely to death by making the same thing over and over again. But I found a new channel that I've been looking at recently, and unfortunately I can't think of her name off the top of my head. Let's see, I think I want to overlap it a little bit. Diane Hubert, I think is her name. Anyway, it's fun to watch new people. Oh, and so some of you guys watched me, you know, I might even be at 1 year now. I don't know when I updated or uploaded my very first video, but it was August last year. I think it was August. So I guess I'm at a year, probably. But there was a project that I did right around that time, maybe at the beginning of September, I don't remember for sure, where I altered a calendar, and I think I'm gonna do that again. I have to go buy a calendar, and I thought that I might end up doing that today, but that didn't happen. And now I don't want to go anywhere. I had to run into town, but I didn't go where, you know, I got the calendars, so maybe tomorrow. We shall see. That's too something. I can put another one of these up here, I guess. Have you seen where people do a collage like this and then they turn it over and cut it randomly? I've seen that done a couple of times. That's pretty cool. I don't know if it would be as obvious with just, you know, regular patterned scrapbook paper, but when you have images and, you know, you're cutting those images in interesting ways, that's kind of, I think, what's making them unique. So I really love this paper pad. I have never made a journal from it that I can remember, but I've used pages from it for different things, but I don't think I've ever made a journal from it. And again, some of the pages, it surprises me, you know, what they put in there. I feel like they don't go, but I really like this paper and I haven't used it much. So let's cut off a chunk of that and use it. See if we can get the girl in there. Hopefully you guys can see my, yeah, I mean, well enough, I suppose. So there's a little girl with her fan, or a lady, not a little girl. Anyway, the Farm Chick show, I've always loved going to it so much, but my house is so full of stuff that I don't need to buy anymore. But I enjoy going so much. At the same time, lots and lots and lots of people go. so, you know, it's a what do I want to do situation. I'm just not sure. Let's see. What haven't I used? Maybe some more of this. Or I haven't used any of this. Now I have to make sure I don't cover her up because I put her head so, you know, in an interesting spot. Okay, I think I'll cut it here-ish. Not an interesting spot, but a spot that I could very easily have a problem not, you know, covering it or something. Well, I wish I had some fabulous story to tell you. I was actually thinking about it before I came on, thinking, well, you know, not much has been going on, and so I'm just doing my normal thing. I'm very tired today, and I do not know why. Very tired. I had to take my daughter into town for an appointment, and I almost fell asleep while I was waiting for her. Somebody was delivering something. I was sitting where you could see me through like a hallway, and there was, you know, the door to enter the office was a glass door, and so I'm sitting there probably with my mouth hanging open, snoring. No, I wasn't asleep, but I was feeling awfully like I could. And I heard some thudding, and I look up, and somebody was delivering something to the office next door. Like, good morning. And the whole time, and I had lots of coffee this morning, so I don't know. I did take some allergy medicine this morning, but it's a non-drowsy one. But it might have made me drowsy anyway. Let's see here. I feel like I need to do something to get it, you know, over here and then just move up. I don't want to do too big of chunks and all of the sudden do giant chunks. Let's see, we'll cut off. I'm just creating more scraps. You guys are probably saying, quit creating more scraps, Stephanie. Anyway, so I guess I could talk about childhood things. You know, I like to tell stories about that since I don't seem to do much of anything other than craft these days. I can just think about childhood memories. My friend, when I was growing up, my best friend, her name was Kathy. She actually recently sent me a message, you know, just saying, how are you doing? And then kind of commented, because we don't really talk much anymore. Every once in a while, we kind of catch up, you know, every couple of years. But apparently she was searching me and found my channel. And so she's like, hey, nice scrapbooking you're doing. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's not scrapbooking. Anyway, she's been stalking me, I think. Her name was Kathy, if I didn't say that. And oh my goodness, did I love Kathy. She was a little girl that lived down the street from us. And when we moved there, you know, the kids, the neighborhood kids, many of them had already made friends. And so, you know, I was the new girl and I had to be let in, sort of a thing. She would come and play with my older siblings some, but not much with me. And that just bummed me out so much. And it could be because I was playing with my little sister and I wasn't allowed to go out and do what my older siblings were doing because I was supposed to watch my little sister. I'm not quite sure why all of that worked out the way it was. I don't remember. But we did finally become friends and did everything together. And she knew all the things that there were to know about me and my family and all that kind of stuff. You know, best friend secrets. But she's one of those people with one of those like a practical joker type of a personality. And I am totally not. I get so uncomfortable with stuff like that. I don't like for people to be put on the spot. It makes me uncomfortable. I feel their pain, you know, if that makes sense. And so sometimes she would make me so mad. And my dad was very strict, and you didn't mess with my dad. And she knew that, but sometimes, you know, because she would mess with her dad, but her dad was totally different than my dad. And so sometimes she would try to behave around my dad with me the way she would with her dad. And I would just get so freaked out and scared, like, oh, you know, I don't know how many times he yelled at her, Kathy, don't you ever come back to this house again, because of the things that she would do, which, you know, were like funny but terrifying at the same time, because like I say, you didn't mess with my dad. And she'd be like, I'll be back, Joe. My dad's name was Joe, or is Joe. Anyway, I remember this one night, we were teenagers, I think, we were teenagers. And she was spending the night, and there wasn't enough room in my bedroom because us three girls had to share one room, 3-bedroom house, and 3 girls. So the one boy that was at home got his own room, and the 3 girls who were at home got to share. So we were pretty crowded. But anyway, so we were sleeping on the pull-out couch in the living room. I hope you guys can see. And watching TV, and my dad was a go to bed when I tell you to go to bed kind of a guy. And he realized if somebody was spending the night, you know, that we would stay up a little later or something like that. You know, he did understand those kinds of things, but he better not hear us. And one of the things that we would do when we would spend the night with each other was eat as many Oreos as is humanly possible. And so we were trying to open up a package of Oreos after everybody had gone to bed. And of course, now Oreos have that little pull top on them, but they didn't then. And I was trying so quietly to silently open up these Oreos. Small house, you know, you couldn't get away from people in my house. Everything was close quarters. And she just takes them from me and she tears those things open, and my eyes get huge, and I just know that my dad's going to come down the hallway at any minute, you know, yelling at us. And, you know, either telling Kathy to go home in the middle of the night or whatever the case may be. But anyway, she did those kinds of things. And then I'm one of those, I jump scare very easily. And so she thought it was hilarious to jump scare me all the time. So she would also do that. Yeah. I mean, it was, you know, lots of good memories, but she was quite the stinker also. And she knows that. anyway, she recently contacted me. We caught up a little bit. Let's see, what do I want next? Maybe some more of this. Do I have big chunks of it? This isn't too bad. I think I'll do, maybe that's too close. Maybe I'll do that. Yeah, I'll do that. And I'll end up covering quite a bit of it up, I'm sure. Yeah, she was something else, that girl. But we had lots of fun. Giggle, giggle, giggle. Got in trouble at school together quite a bit. You know, to quit talking and that sort of thing. And she lives, you know, still back in the area of home. But I still, even though, I mean, I just don't see her very often because, I mean, gosh, I don't think I've seen her in 10 years probably, but I've talked to her a few times. We had discussed going to alumni things, but I think she ended up going one year, but I ended up not going. I think it was because I couldn't get a firm, are we going to do this or not sort of a thing. Anyway, I need maybe some of this. But yeah, she would walk home for lunch to have lunch with her grandmother, and sometimes I would go with her. I didn't know, but I probably wasn't supposed to. You know, she invited me to come, and I was like, well, I guess, why not, you know? But I technically wasn't supposed to do that. But I remember her grandma would make her a hamburger patty and mashed potatoes. I don't know, there might have been a vegetable, I don't remember. But she would make me one too, and I didn't think about, you know, if I was an inconvenience or something, because Kathy had invited me and I figured it was okay. Maybe she told her grandma beforehand, I don't know. But now sometimes I'll make some mashed potatoes, you know, for dinner or something like that. And the next day for lunch, I'll heat up the mashed potatoes and I'll put a slice of cheddar cheese on top, and it just makes me think of Kathy's grandma. And then also when we were smaller, her grandma always had, if I remember right, it was a coffee can that she kept her cookies in. And there was always a coffee can with grandma's chocolate chip cookies in there. So we would be out playing and we'd stop at Grandma Shear's house and grab some cookies. I don't know that I like how this is all lined up like that, but you know, who knows what I'm going to end up making out of it. And so that's probably fine and probably won't stay that way. Not too worried about it. So, lots of memories with Kathy. Of course, there was drama because we were teenage girls, so there was lots of drama too. But I guess that's expected. So I have this little area right here that I don't even like. I don't know what to do with it. I need some more jean. And I'm going to cut quite a big chunk, I think, to put there. She dated my brother for a while. That was, I don't know, did they date while we were in high school? I don't remember that for sure. I know my brother always had a crush on her. And then they did finally date. He was in the Navy, though, at the time. But anyway, I don't know how long they dated, but there was that. Okay, let's move on up. It's funny, I'm thinking, you know, let's use up some of these pages, these pieces, and then all I end up with is a whole bunch more. I don't know that I'm making any headway. Okay, I'm gonna do that. Maybe that. No, I'm gonna cut that. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. Sometimes I think about the things that I did and said when I was a teenager, and I remember them well, and I'm so embarrassed, and I hope, you know, that people don't remember the things that I remember. And oh my goodness, I mean, just like, what an idiot. Oh my goodness. I know that all teenagers do it, but I was one of those people that I always wanted people to think that I was more mature than that, but obviously I wasn't. I think that may be one of the reasons why I have, you know, a Facebook account, but I don't ever post on it or anything like that. And I think part of it is because I don't want to remind people, you know, they're like, oh, that's Stephanie. Boy, she was something else, wasn't she? Yeah. I mean, I wasn't a troublemaker or anything like that. And so, and honestly, I may have just blended in, you know, total wallflower, and it's more like Stephanie who? But I don't know. I was such an idiot. I don't think I became aware of myself until, well, like yesterday maybe. Not quite sure. Yeah. Let's see. Maybe one of these. I only have one in the whole page. Okay, let's see here. There was one. There's one. If I do that, then I can cover. Okay, let's try that. So there's a pocket with slots that I've been seeing in people's journals lately. And I don't know if it's a die cut that's making these things or if they're making it on their own. So I thought that I would try and make a couple with this. We'll figure it out together. I have a die cut for a small one. It's a Tim Holtz one that I've used in journals in the past, but I don't know. I don't know if there's a big one now or not. Let's see, want to do this? Or do I want something? I don't know. Just glue it down. It'll be fine. Yeah, there was one time that Kathy was spending the night at my house, and my dad was, like I say, he was strict, and, you know, the whole boy thing, if there was going to be a boy thing, he'd better know about it, sort of a thing, you know, and then he would decide, you know. Well, her boyfriend, I think he was her boyfriend at the time, or maybe he wasn't, and he was just stopping by to visit at my window. And I grew up in a small town. Everybody knew everybody and all their business, which is great. I mean, I guess that's a good thing sometimes. Anyway, so a friend came to the window and he was talking to us, but I really do think he was talking to Kathy. I feel like he liked her, but it's hard for me to remember for sure. All of a sudden, my dad, either somebody comes to the house or my dad gets a phone call and says, there's somebody at your window, you know. And so my dad, oh my goodness, I thought I was gonna die, but I didn't. I was like, he was there for Kathy and all this kind of stuff. And then I was like, don't ever come back here again. Don't ever. Sometimes I think, well, I mean, he was more strict than he needed to be, if I'm being honest. I know that, but sometimes I think that he might have, in my later wisdom, my later years wisdom, I realized that his strictness, if that's the right way to say it, might have saved me from a few things. So even though I didn't appreciate it then, I'm not saying I appreciate it now, but I understand, you know, a little bit more now. And to be honest, I still wouldn't tell him. You know, like with my mom, we'll tell her things. We'll be like, hey mom, remember this or that? And we'll tell her and she'll be like, oh, you kids. I still wouldn't tell my dad. No, I still wouldn't do it. Well, I like the way the colors go together. I think they're pretty. And I think the overlapping, the way I've got it, is fine. I mean, some of them are a little awkward, but like I say, when it gets cut, I don't think it'll be weird. I think it'll be good. I'm just going to kind of line it up like with this other one. I don't know why, but thinking that might be the thing to do. I think that goes right there, doesn't it? I want to put something behind here first. I think I want to cut it to be in line with this. And if it hangs off a little bit, that's okay. And if I've cut it not quite right, that's okay too, because I can always trim. up here. Well, I can definitely tell you my scrap pile isn't any smaller. I don't know which way this was supposed to go. I think like that. Excuse me. I need to clean the glue lid. I can feel it's getting sticky up inside of there. I'm also getting a tickle in my throat. And I do not have any water in here. I do have a mint though, and that might help. Okay, I want to put something here. Do this. My friend Kathy, though, she would get me out of the house sometimes. I was always afraid to ask because I didn't want the hour-long lecture that came with it. Excuse me. And so she'd say, hey, do you want to do this or you want to do that? I'd be like, well, you know what, Kathy? I want to, but I don't want to deal with it, so just go without me. Well, she wouldn't listen most of the time. And she would call and ask my dad directly. She'd say, hey, my dad and I are going to Dairy Queen. Can Stephanie come? And he'd be like, oh, sure. But if I had gone and asked, it probably would have been a no. Well, he wasn't going to lecture Kathy. I mean, he would if she was at my house doing something that he didn't like. He would lecture her. But not for just calling. And I could hardly get in trouble for somebody doing something I was unaware that they were going to do. So anyway, we would run to the next town because we didn't have any, you know, restaurants or anything in the little town I grew up in. So we would run to the next town over to Dairy Queen and get a peanut butter parfait. And her dad was pretty cool, you know. He would be like, well, do you want me to drive around to see if we see any cute boys or something like that, you know. But not that we ever found any. But he was willing to help us look. He was fun. I don't like this area. I think I'm going to put that here. Oh, sorry. I think I'll do this, and then I just need a strip. I need something. And it needs to be, what does it need to be? Pink. I want it to be pink. But not, maybe I just need a small piece. scissors. I don't think I have any out. But Kathy and I went to different colleges, so we kind of grew apart. For the first year, and while she was dating my brother, we still hung out and stuff like that. Some. But it was hard because we both had college stuff to deal with. And then when her and my brother broke up, it got weird for a while. But it worked itself out, I guess, at some point. Okay. Yeah, she was a wild girl, though. Wild girl. Wild to be friends with, not necessarily a wild girl. She wasn't like going out and partying. Not that I was aware of, because I wasn't allowed out of the house, but I don't think she was. Okay, so what I was thinking, let's see. I'm thinking I want them to be 6 inches. So I'm just going to go ahead. No, I'm assuming this is a 12 incher. Yeah. Maybe 5? Let's see. I want it to be this bottom part though, I think. Yeah, I'll do about 5 inches. That's close enough. Okay. And then our pages are usually about 5.5 inches. So we'll do 5? No, we'll do 4.5. I'm just going by what it looks like to me. I think we'll do 4.5. We're gonna make 2 of them. And then that's enough to be a small tag. Or a small pocket or something like that. Okay. Let's go ahead and ink. This is probably going to be quite the long video because collaging takes quite a while. Okay. Let me see here. I have one of those things that has the holes. And I think what I'll do I'm thinking here. Okay. Maybe I won't do it like that. If I do 1 inch and then another 1 inch and then another. No. Okay, let's just I feel like I need this thing. I need to be able to see. So I'm going to do it at the 5. Or just 1 inch from the top. And then I'm going in, it looks like to me, about 1/2 inch. I hope those line up. They don't look like they line up to me, but they might. I don't know. I think they do. I think it's just that the paper's funky. Now you can use a skinny or a fatter hole, and I don't know for sure which one I want to use. I really don't know. I feel like I want to use the fatter hole. I'm just going to do it. Why not? Why not? I think I'm going to do it right on the edge. I'm doing it where I can see the edge of the dot that I made. And then to take your cutter, let's see. And let it fall down in the hole and cut it. Doesn't want to slide. Like that. And then maybe down another inch from there. Maybe from the line, you know, this line, judge the inch by that. I don't know, I'm just winging it. Now we want the punches to kind of line up. So it doesn't look quite so homemade. I don't know. I don't know. We'll just make one of these together because you'll get the idea. And I think I've seen somebody do this before for a slot, maybe not necessarily making a couple of them, but I know that I've seen people making one slot. Trying to find the little hole. We'll do one more. You guys are like, gee, great. Pencil? I don't know. Let's get another one. The only thing about these kinds of pockets is that you have to have lots of ephemera to put in them. And ephemera is one of the things I struggle with. It's what takes me so long, is creating it or finding it to print out. This would be nice if this is, you know, if I could do the fast forwarding so that you guys weren't sitting and watching so much boring stuff. But, you know, feel free to fast forward yourself. Always. I wish I had a journal that I could poke it in so that you could see it on a page. I don't have anything started. Try to get in there and get some ink on there. And then one of the things that I saw that was kind of cute on the one that I recently saw was they did the little notch out of it. Let me see. Like a thumb notch. If I can get it in there, that's, and they didn't do a real big one. And then of course there's the getting them all to line up. Oh, that didn't sound good. Okay. Alrighty. So, like I said, I don't have anything to put it in, I don't think. But we could pretend on something. I don't even know if I have a, I mean, if I had like just a, you know, so it would look like that. And then you would put your ephemera down in all the spots. You could put a large something down in there. Anyway, so there we go. We're just gonna make one of them because that was a lot of time. Anyway, you guys, thanks for watching. If you're still here, thanks for making it to the end, and I will see you next time. Bye.